Electoral Office of Jamaica has issued a warning to employers against restricting time off to vote for employees. The Electoral Office of Jamaica, EOJ, is cautioning employers that employees have the right to time off to vote on Thursday, September 3rd, 2020. According to the Electoral Office of Jamaica, they have been informed that several employers have indicated to staff that they will not be allowed the time off on Thursday, September 3rd to go and vote in the general elections, or some have stated that these staff will only be allowed 2 hours. The Electoral Office of Jamaica says that this is a breach of the law, and that employees who intend to vote in the general election are entitled to 3 hours time off from work to vote. This is in addition to the usual lunch hour. The law, however, does not apply to persons who start work at 10 a.m. or later, or who end work at or before 2 p.m. Electors are encouraged to make the appropriate arrangements with their employers before Election Day. In the meantime, the Electoral Office of Jamaica stated that it has been made aware that some employers have been advising employees who intend to work as Election Day workers or to cast their vote that they will be required to be in quarantine for 14 days after the polls. The Office of Jamaica has assured that the necessary safety precautions will be taken, which includes mandatory thermometer checks, the wearing of masks, continuous sanitization procedures, physical distancing, and the single use of voting pencils by electors. Consequently, an Election Day worker's duties on Election Day does not warrant a mandatory 14-day quarantine. On August 31st, 2020, 56% of Special Services voters turned out to cast their ballots. The Electoral Office of Jamaica has stated that there was a 56% turnout among Special Services electors on Monday, August 31st, 2020. Members of the police force, the military, and Election Day workers cast their ballots across 377 polling stations. August 31st, 2020, which was 3 days before the September 3rd general elections. Of the 46,777 Special Services personnel who are eligible to vote, only 26,276 electors cast their ballots. The Electoral Office of Jamaica says that the turnout was less than the 63% which was recorded during the 2016 general elections. The breakdown of special service workers that are eligible to vote is as follows. For the police, there are 11,512 electors that are eligible to vote. 4,849 electors among the police voted, which represent 42%. Of the military, there are 4,181 persons who are eligible to vote. 982 of these persons cast their ballots, which represent a 23%. Of election workers, the number that is eligible to vote is 31,084. The number of votes that have been cast were 20,445, which represents a turnout of 66%. According to the Director of Elections, Glasspool Brown, reports from across the island indicate a fairly quiet day at the polling stations on August 31st, 2000. 20. All polling stations opened as scheduled at 8 a.m. And of course, the EOJ did not receive any reports of any major incidences. Overall, August 31st went quite smoothly. The Electoral Office of Jamaica explained that special service voters' ballots are placed in specially marked individual envelopes, which are then sorted the night after the election and will be counted on election day along with the ballots that were cast by civilian non-election day workers. While the Electoral Office has determined how many ballots have been received, there is no indication of how the electors have placed their votes, as the envelopes remain sealed and vaulted until the counting on election day. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Leave your feedback down below on employers attempting to restrict the allotted time of 3 hours that has been given by law to employees to vote on election day. According to the EOJ, it is mandatory that employees receive 3 hours along with their 1 hour lunch time to go and exercise their right to vote. Also comment on the 56% turnout of special services personnel.